There are cars we remember for their speed and others for their sound. But then, there are those we remember because they made us smile. The Morris Minor wasn't about horsepower or track times. It was about heart. A friendly face on four wheels, a symbol of post-war simplicity and British charm. And after decades of silence, the name has returned. But this isn't the car you think you know. It's not stuck in the past. The 2025 Morris Minor is here, and it's electric, elegant, and eccentric in all the right ways. It's not trying to beat anyone. It's trying to remind us that cars can be joyful again. So what's changed? What stayed the same? And how did a car from 1948 suddenly become one of the most talked about EVs of 2025? Let's find out. A name that defined an era. The first Morris Minor was shown in 1948, a small, low-cost British car that soon turned into an admired symbol of the country. The Mini was developed by Sir Alec Isigonis and created with every person in mind. Rounded fenders, a pleasant-looking grille at the front, and a ride that offered more comfort than madness. Approximately 1.6 million were sold, helping it become one of Britain's top sellers. The marriage wasn't filled with grand gestures, but it was real. My family loved the movie. Students believed in it. Today's collectors also regard it as something extremely valuable. When times changed and new technologies appeared, the Morris Minor mostly became a symbol of nostalgia. We always assume things from the past will remain there, but that's not true. Still, this was not the only point of interest for me. Concluding the story was never the idea. We were going on a pause. The return no one predicted. As rumors appeared about a new Morris Minor, most people believed them to be mere daydreams. A timeless design for an EV? From Morris? Today, car buyers are confronted with a highly advanced market. I wasn't sure I believed their explanation. Still, at the end of 2024, all the details were made public. The 2025 Morris Minor isn't only celebrating the past, it's reimagining the car. It pays tribute to its past without getting stuck in it. The headlights still have a round shape and the stance is still happy, but now you'll see LED halos, flush door handles, and an interior inspired by a boutique hotel. As much as we love some movies, reboots tend to not meet our expectations. This was not the only thing to happen that day. I saw familiarity in a refreshing new way. Exterior, vintage meets visionary. The overall look is faithful to the original, but it's in the small details that you find the difference. The 2025 Minor is available in aluminum, shows a two-tone paint combination using pastel colors, and its badges are illuminated when you walk by. There's no need to overdo it. The car still wears some aerodynamic wheels, a clamshell hood, and tasteful chrome, while looking modern. I'm talking about the famous rear windows spread across two levels in classic models. Now they're back, using self-adjusting glass instead of blinds. You know how modern cars don't seem like true sports cars just because they have all the best specs? But it didn't end there. This moment was not meant to scare everyone, just to excite them. The electric heart of a classic. Beneath its vintage bodywork, the Morris Minor is totally up to date. A 45 kilowatt-hour battery and 161 horsepower motor provide this car with enough power for 230 miles of range. It may not replace Tesla, but it isn't trying to. Rather, it provides quiet, effortless movement suitable for both urban and rural areas. The method of regenerative braking makes for a very smooth stop. The car picks up nice and smooth. Nostalgia mode also plays an understated engine sound picked from the old Minor's exhaust system. You've noticed how electric cars sometimes seem cold and impersonal? However, this was not the solution. This was what personality meant in our world, or at least it was when cooled by lithium. Do you know that the Morris Minor was the first British car to sell over 1 million units? It was also one of the first cars designed with unitary construction, which made it both light and durable for its time. In fact, its original blueprint was considered revolutionary in post-war Europe. Now, in 2025, it's once again ahead of its time. Not with power, but with purpose. The new Minor is made from 90% recyclable materials, uses vegan leather interiors, and includes an optional solar roof that helps trickle charge the battery while parked. This isn't just retro, it's responsible. Wireless charging is available. There's a type of ambient lighting, and your own AI assistant, Maury, holds on to your previously preferred routes. Lists of songs and coffee choices. You won't find a lot of flash. It reflects elegance instead. A lot of today's interiors resemble each other. This was still not the answer. You could see this in the details of every seam. Who is the new Morris Minor for? You won't take this car for a spin on dirt trails or for drag racing. It's created with dreamers in mind. For creatives, there are folks who look for transport, but what they really want is to have fun. If you call the city home, consider yourself an artist, are retired, just bought your first EV, or make country roadside hand gestures. You belong here. People reading your work don't care about your name. They want to feel what's inside you. When it comes to parking, people might ask, "What's that? That's adorable." Didn't cars back in the day put smiles on everyone's faces? There was more to deal with at this stage. Had legs, we would have called it a smile. Pricing and possibilities. At a starting price of $29,500, the 2025 Morris Minor is a high-end electric compact car that only costs a little more than most new EVs. Priced at $36,000, the Moggy Lux model adds on heated seats, an improved sound system, and a unique two-tone paint job. If you desire even further range, rumors tell us a 60 kilowatt-hour version might be released late in 2025 with a driving range of more than 300 miles. It seems a convertible model could soon be introduced as well. We have been patient waiting for desirable EVs to be very expensive. This was not the main point. It was very retro, all for a reasonable cost. Personal connection and emotional close. When I was very young, my grandfather had a red Morris Minor. Powder blue was always covered in dust, always full of movement. I remember the smell of the seats, how the door squeaked, and how it seemed that the car was alive. Simple, charming, not very fancy or fast. It had a style of its own, just like a friend you trust completely. Every little issue we faced reminded me of a story, and every mark on the car was a reminder of what we'd been through. After seeing the reimagined car, I think I realized that a car doesn't have to impress us. Sometimes they only need to talk about what's on their mind. It's not about speed for the 2025 Morris Minor, but charm and being loved. It's a slow change, allowing people to connect with simpler times in a world full of complications. You know that we think nostalgia only means looking back, right? But there was still more happening. I was enjoying nostalgia along with something new, something I could drive. It felt as if I was being greeted by history itself, and it was still holding on to me. The 2025 Morris Minor isn't for everyone, and that's exactly why it matters. It's a car that dares to be different in a world chasing sameness. If it made you smile, hit that like button, subscribe for more rare and remarkable revivals, and drop a comment. Would you drive a car that looks back to move forward? Until next time, stay curious, stay classic, and never underestimate the joy of a simple drive.